Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for being here, I appreciate it. This week I'm working on a 3-color pour in which I'm using a ivory black base to layer my colors on top of with a bit of metallics as well as a nice light blue and also some fluorescent pink. And I've also become a big fan of these ivory black bases I'm using in the past few weeks as well, which is working out great for some of the brighter colors I've been using. And now this week I decided to keep it a bit more simple with only 3 colors, using 2 from Liquitex and 1 from DecoArt. The first being our fluorescent pink, as well as some light blue violet, and my third from DecoArt is the peacock pearl, which I felt would give the black piece some complementary color on top of the bright fluorescent pink, which I really love, but also that I was using a lighter blue and had to get a bit of what I was hoping for, a middle color like a turquoise / aqua color on top of this beautiful light blue violet. And I have to say, if I could own every color of Liquitex paint there was, I would do it because I love it. It's great to mix, it's great to pour. There's some really vibrant and cool colors they make, and not sponsored, just I really love them and think they make a really good paint. So here's my light blue violet, and no, this is a really cool color that I came across a few months back and really quite enjoy. Now here is my newest fave, is going to be my peacock pearl as my last color of my 3. And I did leave enough room in the middle there where there's a small V of black for some negative space was my plan to help separate the pour. I wanted it super bright if I could, but also some negative space in the middle to help out the piece. I also felt that adding this peacock pearl as my last color, but also on top of the blue and pink, might make for a cool effect when I swipe through it later, is why I drizzled the paint across all colors. And now at this point you may be thinking, why is there only paint in the middle? Really I wanted to focus in on how this lacing turned out. I found in the past where I have a base that's black or a base that's white, I don't do a very good job at spreading my lacing out like I want to. So my plan here is to do my swipes first, get some cool lacing going. And again, I was going for a bit of a divided look, so I wanted to slow down and take my time, but also not concerned with what's on the outside just yet. I'll fill it in later with a bit more black, but I wanted to make sure that I had good lacing before I began to stretch. And I've got to say, I really love how this pink makes this piece work. I think pink in general is a very pretty color, but this as the fluorescent pink made this piece pop. And I think that the contrast between the pink and the blue worked really well in the end here. So coming to an end of my swipes, leading in with one more swipe across the color here into my final corner before I add some more black into the mix to give it some assistance with my stretching. And me having learned some lessons from the past where I have not mixed enough paint, I mixed plenty of black extra just for this purpose, where I had about 3 ounces left, roughly give or take, but I wanted to make sure and add some black to my corners to give those that lacing some help stretching out to the corners, not wrecking the stretch, just wanting to have the black slide off essentially is why I have the extra paint on the outsides. Okay, and one of the most helpful tips I've come across in some time is one from one of our fellow pour artists, Mark Ratcliffe. He suggested in one of his pours a while back, I saw that you should feel out where your paint is on the canvas before jumping the gun like I had plenty of times and beginning your tilt. So feel out where your paint is before you begin to tilt and decide where and which way you want to begin your tilting. And now, having said that, I was very careful and intentional with my tilts on how I was going about this pour. I was a little bit light on my paint, which of course I wouldn't do, right? Now, again, going about 1.5 times speed on my videos, so bear with the cutting in and out part. But no, I was a bit light on my paint colors, so my black could have been a bit more thin, which would have helped that paint slide a bit more evenly and a bit more fast, I suppose, off my canvas. So I was very careful in not wanting to distort my lacing or the effects I created with some of those colors. Okay, and this week, as many of you may have seen, I only have one camera angle. Now this week, I also failed to check into the available camera space, or I guess memory space, on my second camera. So at minute 3.5 on my second camera, it decided to shut itself off because it was out of space, and that is my second lesson learned for this week. But ultimately, the first angle looks pretty good. We missed out on a few angles, but that's how it goes in the world of YouTube. Okay, if you have gotten this far in the video, thanks again for being here. I appreciate your support to my channel. It means the most to me. And I have a question. What are your thoughts on this color combination of light blue violet, also the peacock pearl, and my fluorescent pink? I love the pink, I love the blue, I love the peacock. I think they're great. What are your guys' thoughts on how this turned out and the overall color choice and combination? Now, as I begin to wrap up this particular portion of the pour, I was happy with how the lacing and effects wound up. However, I wasn't entirely sold on the middle portion of my negative space because it was straight. So I decided to pick it up again and leaning some more tilting, just to give it a bit more flair, we'll call it. And now, to be honest, on this pour, I think this may have been the best decision I made the entire night on how things turned out, in having picked it up and deciding to go again with some more tilting to create that bit of curve in the middle rather than the straight black we had before. I was quite happy with how this turned out versus the straight black across, which again I think was the best choice I made the entire night. And now, as we go in for a bit of a overhead look on the final wet product, I was quite happy with how all of the coloring turned out. I love the lacing, and especially this white lacing in the middle that stuck around after my tilting happened. The pink really brought through the entire piece on the blue plus the green, which made some really nice lacing effects through the entire color combination. And overall, I couldn't be more happy with how things had turned out. On this pour, I think the colors worked well with each other, and no, the end result was more than I had hoped for, so I'm quite happy with how things went. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, please consider clicking the next playlist up here in the corner to see a few more just like it. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.